Yeah, so the dream started, I was at a football game, and somehow I got a hold of a football, and I was thinking of ways I would usually throw it. And I was like, oh man, I've been doing it the wrong way the whole time. I tried to have like a big old hand grip, having my whole hands around the football, and I tried throwing it. It's like kind of a to the field. I thought maybe the football players were practicing or something, but instead it goes clear all the way to the other side, to where the band was playing, and it smacks someone right in the face. So I was like, oh my god, I feel so bad. I guess like people knew that someone threw the football, and started looking around to see who did it. And there was a group of Asians like sitting in front of me, and they all turned and looked up at me and were all squinty-eyed at me, and it's like as if they knew. And I just kept staring straight ahead, like, what? And so that kept happening. Just they just turn around, look around at me. Football game was over. The bell's ringing. It's actually my alarm going off, but it sounded like an emergency alarm was going off. So I didn't even wake up to my alarm, but as the alarm was going, everyone was evacuating the school, and I was just looking around to see if I knew anyone, and I was like, oh, I better get home. So I started walking, and someone greets me and says they'll help me, and we go out through the back, and we join with this other guy, climb up a hill, go to the car, drive off for a little while. They drop me off, I have a conversation with them, and I start getting ADD, and I forgot what I was going to say next, and I was like, oh, that's pretty. And they're like, what? And I'm like, I don't even know. And then I looked, and I saw there was a thunderstorm. I'm like, oh, the thunderstorm is pretty. It's like, yeah, the last time it was so detailed, blah, 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 blah. And the person's like, okay, bye. So they left me, and then I realized, I'm not even home. They just dropped me off at this random place. And it's like, oh, I better jog back in the other direction. So I start jogging, and then I get to this bridge, and it's really long, and there's a bunch of cars coming. I'm like, frick, I have to wait for all these cars to go by. And they're like going 60 miles an hour. Then I see like two black guys that are running with their dogs, and one passes the other, and it seems like they were kind of like in a race. And they get to the bridge, and I'm trying to run right behind them, and then they decide to stop because they were too scared to cross it. And then we see one car drive off, and we sprinted across the bridge, and somehow they disappeared, and I passed out in the middle of the road for some odd reason. My clothes were off, and I see like a party of friends, Satit and Andrew. They're really good dancers. They're like sitting on this table in the middle of nowhere, just drawing and writing stuff. And after like 5 minutes go by, I still hear the alarm, by the way, that's going off in my head. I get up and start running in my underwear just right past them. I'm just smiling and waving, and I see that they were writing stuff like, yay Jarrett, go Jarrett. And I'm like, the frick? And they were like celebrating me also, like, Jared and Elisa, something, something, something. And I was just smiling, waving, and somehow I got to the Yellowstone Country Club, and I meet all my old stuffed animals when I was a kid, and they started like turning into humans, and Daniel was among them, and it was nighttime, and it was time for us to rest. And Daniel was sitting out in the corner smoking weed right next to a refrigerator. And I tried opening the refrigerator, and he closed it. It's like, don't open the refrigerator, because after every 4 hours, this and that happens. And I just kind of trailed off in my head, like, oh, he's going to explain something. And I'm like, what is that noise going on in the background? So he gets up, he's like going to go to the bathroom. He's like, oh, hey, Jerry, you want to smoke some weed? And I'm like, oh, yeah. So I smoking around, and I blow out the smoke. It's like part of it turns into like spit, and it goes out and it starts falling down on me. I try to catch it and make it look like I wasn't spitting, and Daniel just looks at me and he's all high. He's like, I'm watching you. I'm watching you. And then so I get back to my toy animals, and I'm trying to figure out how to carry them for my journey. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to carry them to my house, like with their shirts that were on, and putting some stuffed animals in their shirts, and trying to put them in two hands. I had a lot, and there was too many, and it was a really difficult time. And then I woke up, and I was like, oh, it's my alarm. That's what that sound was.